Hey, welcome back to the channel. Doing a long-term review of the TRex kit I installed. I know it's weird to do a long-term review after just a few weeks of installing them, but I did just get back from a 2,000-mile road trip with my wife. We went up Casper, Cody, East Yellowstone, through Yellowstone National Park for a couple days, then went down into the Tetons, Jackson Hole, then crossed over to the west side of the Tetons, went up through Idaho, to big loop through Idaho, back into West Yellowstone, then back down to Casper and back home. So most of the miles on this trip were highway miles, long stretches where, you know, comfort really matters. You're doing 70 miles an hour for hours and hours and hours with no turning, no stopping other than to get some gas. So it really makes a difference. So this is real world touring conditions. This is not around town or up to the mountains for a quick lunch and back down. This is actual long distance touring on the motorcycle. So first thing to review here is the crash cage up front. And I can tell you that this really helped me out. By moving my feet to the outside of the engine here, they were a lot cooler when I was riding. I did not have that hot foot feeling I usually get. So normally when I'm riding, my foot's on the Gold Strikes, because they sit down here and much closer to the engine, my foot would get hot from being right next to the motor right here. And that just doesn't happen with these because my foot is far enough away that there's a wind going in. Better or worse, I think I'll be complaining about that in winter, but we'll see. The luggage guard here, and the luggage guard, the best thing I can say about it is we didn't notice it. So my wife, when she was getting on, she never ran into it, putting her foot on. I never kicked it accidentally throwing a leg over or anything like that. Obviously, it's way back here. They were just never in the way, which is probably the best compliment you can give a luggage guard is we didn't even notice it. And obviously, I didn't get to use these, and I don't ever want to, but you know, hey, there it is. The other thing, of course, was that I could put the saddlebag down, and there were no issues with the saddlebag coming down at all. The big thing we're here to talk about really are the highway pegs. So these highway pegs turned out to be a little bit of a challenge. If you remember in the first video, I mounted them to this bar, and you can see this bar tilts inward. So what happened was when you mount the highway peg to it, the peg is at the same angle coming down, so you're sliding away. So I ended up in that video, I moved them to mount them here and had them mounted backwards. And you'll note in that video also, this feeler was up, which is upside down. I think one or two people in the comments noticed that. This feeler was facing the wrong way. And that's because of where I wanted to mount them. Well, on the trip, I ended up moving them a lot. So they started here, I moved them back here, I moved them here, I turned them up, I pushed them down. So I was playing with a lot of ways to put them on here, and this is where I landed. Just the short bar like this, mounted, so I can kick them up out of the way very easily without an issue. So this is where they landed, and I'm really happy with this final arrangement. But it was quite the challenge, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it took me a while to find this comfortable spot. Final thoughts on the TRex gear. Crash cage worth it, luggage cage worth it. Those two are a baseline. Highway pegs I really like. It's up to you. A lot of people don't like highway pegs on the Goldwing, but on other bikes they're pretty common. So if you're thinking about buying these, they are a solid kit. Just be prepared that you're gonna have to do some messing around with the foot pegs, probably. If you're like me, they were a little hard to get comfortable once I got them comfortable. They're perfect now, I love them. I can ride all day with them, but they definitely took me a while to get comfortable, and they really do help on long highway rides. If I were to tell TRex to change anything, I would square off that cage. I realize they're trying to match the line of the bike, but the problem is you don't have anywhere that's squared up to the bike to mount anything. So anything you mount to the bike is gonna be slightly tilted in, which is a bit of a pain in the ass. And their gear doesn't allow you to like really change the tilt if you're attached to that front bar. I would also have them make pivoting mounts because that would solve that problem. Pivoting mounts on the bike, on the pegs themselves, would actually help a ton. So if you could pivot those into place like the Gold Strike ones, they have all those pivot points. If you could get those pivot points on there, they'd be perfect. So you could dial them in exactly where you want them, regardless of where they were mounted. That would also really help. Last one's really a nitpick. I would use a standard mount for that piece instead of that custom thing they did. It's really stout. I mean, it is solid gear, but you can't swap to a floorboard if you're a floorboard guy. I'm not. I find the pegs are just fine. I really like being able to stretch my calves out or rest my foot up on it. You know, either way, it works perfectly. So that's my final thoughts, man. I think for the money, you are gonna have a really tough time finding a better kit than this T-Rex gear. And again, I'm just a guy in a garage. Nobody's paying me to do this. They don't even know I exist, other than, you know, I paid them some money and they shipped me a product. But yeah, I would say these are worth all the money that I spent on them. I have a lot more peace of mind, which is what it's really about. These highway pegs aren't gonna get in the way. They're so easy to flip up and flip down. If you're gonna go rail corners, you can just pop them up out of the way. But honestly, you know, this is so far off the ground that even railing corners, you're not gonna hit this feeler at all. All right, that is it. Keep your wheels down, have a great ride. I'm off with the wife tomorrow. We're going for another long ride, so we'll see how that goes.